Have you worked with Kafka and Spring Boot? In this video, we are going to create a Spring Boot application which can publish messages onto a Kafka topic. I'm going to create a Kafka topic locally, so I'm going to run my Zookeeper node along with the Zookeeper server, and we are going to create a Kafka topic, and we will create a Spring Boot application and publish a message onto that Kafka topic, and we will see from the console by consuming that message and seeing whether we are able to publish it or not.
Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss any update from Tech Primers.
As usual, we are in the start.spring.io. I'm using Java Spring Boot 1.5.13. Let's take the group as com tech primers. I'll make it as Kafka because we might do more videos on Kafka, because this is going to be a Kafka producer example where I'm going to create a Spring Boot with Kafka producer as an example. So I'll just make the same as the artifact. I'll just say Spring Boot Kafka producer example. What do we need? We obviously need Kafka dependency. So there is some a module called Spring Kafka which Spring has created, which can be used inside the Spring Boot application so that it is easier for us to publish messages, like how we used to query REST endpoints using the REST template. We can do it something with the Kafka template. Additionally, we are going to use Spring MVC, so we will expose a web service, and we are going to hit that web service, and that will publish some message. Let's create this project. Let me open it in IntelliJ. So the project has got imported here. Let me change the version to Java 8, and let's go and check the pom.xml. So the pom.xml has Spring Boot starter verb, which is the Spring MVC. Additional to that, we have something called Spring Kafka. So this is the module which we are going to use to publish messages onto the Kafka topic. Let's see how easy is that with Spring. I'm going to use the server port 8081 because 8080 is occupied in my system. I'll use that by default for bringing up this particular Spring Boot application. Additional to that, let's create our usual resource. I'm just going to create a resource here. So let's call it user resource as usual, right? So this is going to use Spring MVC. I'll just say REST controller, and I'll map it as request mapping. Only thing is I'll just make the controller as Kafka, so that way we know that this is going to produce some Kafka message. Now I'll just create a get mapping so that I don't have to use post or postman. I'll just do a get mapping, and let's do a post message, right? And I'll say publish message. I'll create an endpoint called publish message, or I'll just make it as publish, and this could be a message, right? Whatever we are publishing. I'll just say final string message, and I'll also say published successfully. Now we need to publish the message which we are going to push. So how do we publish onto Kafka? It is pretty simple if we have the Kafka in the same machine. I'm going to use Kafka template, like how we have REST template. We do have something called Kafka template. By default, let's publish a string as a message. So what I'll do is I'll just say Kafka template string, and I'll just auto wire this. So Spring will by default take care of all the configurations which we don't have to provide now. Now we need to publish this onto a topic, and we need to publish this message. So message is a string. So let's create this topic. uh, I'll just create it as a field. Let's provide it as a name, right? So let's provide a name to this particular topic. I'll just public static final. It's going to be a constant one, so I'll just say Kafka underscore example. You can provide any name to it. I'm just going to say Kafka underscore example, right? So that's it. I don't have to do anything else. I just said Kafka template. Since I'm going to use the Kafka also in the same machine as my laptop, so I'm not going to provide any configuration details. But in the later part of the video, I'll show you how to provide that. So right now, that's all. I don't have to do anything. This will automatically publish a message onto the Kafka topic. So let's see how it happens, right? Before this, we need to start the Kafka instance. Right now, I don't have it running. So in order to bring up the Kafka server, we need to we need to create a Zookeeper instance because Kafka uses Zookeeper. So I already have the Zookeeper command here. We need to say zookeeper server start.sh. This is already there in the Kafka folder. So if you see here, this is the Kafka folder which I had already downloaded from the Kafka website, and I'm just going to start the Zookeeper node now. So this will start a Zookeeper instance here in my laptop. Once the Zookeeper node has started, now we have to start the Kafka server. So in order to start the Kafka server, we just need to say kafka-server start.sh, which is already there inside the bin, and we need to provide the server.properties, which is also already present inside the config folder. So once we start the Kafka server, we should be able to start our consumer as well. So we need to first create the topic. So once the Kafka server is up, now we can create the Kafka topic. See, I already have the command for creating the Kafka topic. We just need to say kafka-topic.sh. We need to provide what we need to do, hyphen create, and we are going to provide the Zookeeper instance, which this particular Kafka topic needs to be created on, and it is inside our local machine, and the port by default is 2181. So that is what we are providing here. If you have multiple Zookeeper nodes, you can provide additionally along with this, right? But we have only one right now, and the replication factor is one. You can provide the different replication factor based on your cluster and needs, and same way with the number of partitions. So right now I am going to create only one partition, but if you need multiple partitions, you can mention that. And finally, we need to provide the topic name. So here I'll say the topic name is Kafka example underscore example. This is the topic name which we saw, right? So this will create a topic for us. So first we need to create it. So the topic got created. So once the topic is created, we should be able to publish it. Before that, we need to consume from this particular topic so that we can see the messages are getting posted or not. So what I'll do is I'll just create a consumer. So this is the consumer which will just connect to this particular topic, whatever we mentioned here, and it will show what messages are coming in. So right now there won't be any message. See, right now there is nothing coming in because right now we have not published anything. Let's try publishing messages, right? Let me start the Spring Boot application. So the port number is 8081. Let me go to the browser. 8081. So the Spring Boot application is coming up still. Once it is up, we can go to the browser and hit the get URL. So we have it ready. 8081. I should see, the server is there. So we need to go to Kafka slash publish, and we need to provide the message, right? Let's say hello. So this should publish the message, and if you notice here, we got a published successfully. And let's try, see that we already got a hello. So let me try showing this in a single page, right? Let me push this here. So I have just now made both these windows appear in the same screen so that you guys can see how the messages are getting published. So I'll just say hello YouTube. I'll just re-trigger it, and you can see in the right side here, this is the console where the message is getting consumed from the same Kafka topic. where we are publishing. So if I just hit on this, you can immediately see that we got the hello YouTube option. So this is how we can publish a message onto the Kafka topic. But what we did here is we just published a string, right? So what if I want to publish a JSON message? So this is just a string, but however I want to publish a JSON message. So in that case, what will I do? So I can create a model here. What I will do is I'll just create a JSON model, and I'll show how we need to modify the Kafka configurations in order to publish a JSON. So this is a normal user class which I have created. I'll just create a name. User's name will be name, department, and let's say I'll just do a salary. So we have created the model. Now instead of the string here, we need to use the user model. That's it. But you need to provide, so we need to create a new user with the name. What is the name of the user? Let's say the name was always Peter. I'll just hard code it for now so that we, or I'll just say this is the name. Let's provide a name. And the department is technology. And let's say the salary is 20,000 long. That's it. So this is created. Now this part is the same. The publisher part is going to be the same, just that we have used the user model and we are going to publish that directly. However, we need to serialize this particular object in the type we want to publish. So by default, Kafka uses the string. So it, so that's why we do not do anything for the string message publishing part. However, we are going to publish JSON here. Now we need to tell Kafka that I'm going to publish a JSON message. So we need to do some configuration. So let's call it Kafka configuration. And this needs to be loaded during the Spring Boot initialization. So I'll just add the add configuration annotation. Now we need to create a bean of type producer factory, sorry. So we need to create a producer factory, and what am I going to do inside the producer factory? I'm going to create a configuration, and I'm going to provide that configuration for creating a new default Kafka factory. When I'm creating this new default Kafka producer factory, I need to provide some configuration. So let's see what is that configuration, right? This configuration is just a type hash map, and I'm just going to put values onto it. So what type of values I'm going to put? I need to get the producer configuration, right? So I'll just say producer config. This has some keywords. These are the different configurations which we need to provide, right? So the basic one is the Bootstrap server configuration, where I need to mention what is the server name, right? In our case, it is the local host. I'm just going to say 127.0.0.1 colon 9092. That is the default port which we are going to use for consuming messages, right? Same way for the publisher part, it's the same. So if you see the consuming part where we are using, the port number is 9092. I'm just giving the same thing here. So that is the Kafka port. The next one is what type of key are we going to put? So producer dot key serialization class config. I'm just going to mention the serialization class which we need to use as a key. So I'm going to use the key as a string. So I'm just saying string serializer class. This should be coming in from the Spring one. So I'll just say serialization dot class. That's it. Same way for the value, I need to provide the similar configuration. However, in the value, we are going to use the JSON serialization. So we'll say JSON serializer dot class. So this will tell Kafka that okay, I'm going to use the JSON configuration for the values, and when I created the producer factory, I'm just providing these values here. Now, who will tell Spring that okay, this is the thing? We will have to now create the Kafka template. We did not create the Kafka template, right? We were just auto wiring it. Now here is the chance for us to create the Kafka template with that string user, whatever we created. We'll just say return new Kafka template, and I need to provide the factory. So I'll just say provide the producer factory. So that is what I'm doing here, and this should be of type string comma user. Here I need to do the same thing. Here I don't need this. That's it. So what we have done here is we have created a producer configuration factory where we provided the configuration details. The three configuration details which we provided were the Bootstrap server details, the key serialization class, and the value serialization class. We are going to publish a JSON message, so we are using the JSON serializer here. If you have a different type of message, for example, if you have a JSON message or if you have Avro formats, you can just do that change here, and we are injecting this particular producer factory onto the Kafka template so that this Kafka template can be used inside our resource directly. In fact, we can wrap this Kafka template publisher part onto a service, but I'm not doing that here. I'm just making it simple. So that's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the publish option with a name, and the name will always go with the default technology and salary. So I don't want to use Postman here to show that. So that is why I'm making it simple. There is no other reason for me to do this, but if you are using a post mapping, you can add it in under the post. You can provide a JSON and you can push that JSON directly onto the topic, but I'm not doing that right now. I'm just making it simple by using the get mapping here. So the server is up now. Let's go to the browser, and I'll keep this in the side, right, so that we can see what's happening. So what I have done is I have said that do a publish, and we need to provide a name. So I'll just provide a name as Peter. So this should publish Peter along with the department and the salary. See that, right? We got a JSON message in the right side. So let me reduce this a bit. So wherever we are consuming, we are getting Peter. So let's try Sam. Now let's try publishing Sam. So Sam, yeah, we got the name Sam, and the department is technology and the salary is same. So that is what we did, right? So this is how we can publish a JSON message. So this is nothing but a custom message. So this is how we can publish a custom message onto the Kafka topic by providing the configuration. We provided the serialization configuration here to the Kafka template, and we use that Kafka template in the resource, and we published that. So this is how you can use Spring Boot to publish messages onto the Kafka topic. I'll just summarize what we did. We used the Kafka template, like how we use the REST template for calling REST messages. Now we are using Kafka template to communicate with Kafka servers. If you have a custom Kafka server which is outside your machine, you can use that here. You can just say Bootstrap server configuration. You can provide the Kafka server here. In my case, it is the local machine, the same machine, so I don't even have to provide this configuration until or unless I need to change the JSON serialization. So the key and the values can be serialized separately. You can provide a different serialization. Right now I'm using the JSON. Previously for string I didn't have to provide anything because by default it uses string serializer. I'm using the JSON here, so I'm just using it. I'm just overriding it now, and I'm providing that particular producer factory to the Kafka template so that Spring knows that okay, we need to publish a custom JSON message. So that's how Spring Boot knows what we need to do in this particular project. And directly I'm just doing a send on to the topic. So this is the topic which I created. I just showed you a few minutes back. I have just created this topic in the Kafka server, and I'm using the publish option, and I'm using the send option to send this particular JSON message onto the topic. This is how you can use Spring Boot to publish messages onto the Kafka topic. As always, this particular project will be available in GitHub for you to use. Also, I will mention the Kafka, Zookeeper commands, whatever I had used. What you can do is you can go to the Kafka website and download the Kafka server or the cluster basically, and you can just try it out in your machine. There are uh, batch files for the Windows as well, so you can try it out in Windows as well. So right now I'm using the Mac version or the Linux version, so you can use the Windows version and you should be able to do the same. So I will give the commands for all these things. Do check that readme.md file which is available in the root, in the GitHub link which is available in the description. I hope you like this particular video. If you like the video, go ahead and like it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to it. Meet you again in the next video. Thank you very much.